The silence from Earth had lasted exactly 73 days. Eva stood at the observation deck of the Galactic Council's flagship, her reflection ghosting across the viewport as she watched the distant blue marble that was humanity's homeworld. No transmissions, no diplomatic channels, not a single response to the Council's increasingly desperate attempts at communication. "They're testing us," Luis said from behind her, his voice carrying the weight of someone who'd spent 3 decades navigating the treacherous waters of interstellar politics. He approached the viewport, his weathered hands clasped behind his back. "They want to see who blinks first." Eva turned to face him, her expression unreadable. 73 days, Luis. The Velkari are mobilizing their fleets. The Andromedans have placed sanctions on human trade routes. The entire quadrant is on the verge of panic, and Earth just sits there, silent. "Exactly as planned," Luis replied, a slight smile playing at the corners of his mouth. Eva's eyes widened. "You knew about this?" "I suggested it." The revelation hit Eva like a physical blow. Luis had been humanity's representative to the Galactic Council for longer than she'd been alive. He'd negotiated treaties, prevented wars, and built the fragile bridges that connected humanity to the 1,000 species that populated the known galaxy. And now he was telling her he'd orchestrated the very silence that threatened to tear it all apart. "Why?" she demanded. Luis gestured to the viewport, beyond which the assembled armada of a dozen alien empires floated in uneasy formation. "Tell me what you see." "I see enough firepower to glass a planet," Eva said flatly. "I see every major power in the galaxy pointing weapons at Earth." "And yet," Luis said softly, "not one of them fires." Eva fell silent, understanding beginning to dawn. "For 300 years, Luis continued, humanity has played by everyone else's rules. We've been the newcomers, the junior partners, the species that had to prove we belonged at the table. We've been diplomatic, accommodating, reasonable." He turned to face her fully, his eyes blazing with an intensity she'd never seen before. "And in all that time, we learned something the old empires forgot long ago." "What's that?" "That the most powerful weapon in the universe isn't a plasma cannon or a reality bomb. It's uncertainty." Luis pulled up a holographic display showing the council chambers from earlier that day. Eva had been there, had witnessed the chaos firsthand. The Velkari ambassador had demanded military intervention. The Andromedan collective had called for economic warfare. The crystalline Shari had advocated for diplomatic isolation. But beneath all the bluster and threats, Eva had sensed something else. Fear. "They're afraid of us," she whispered. "Terrified," Luis confirmed. "Because in 73 days they've remembered something crucial. They have no idea what humans are capable of when we stop talking and start acting." Eva's mind raced through the implications. Humanity had always been the wild card, the unpredictable species that had risen from a single planet to a minor galactic power in record time. While other species had millennia of recorded history, humanity's meteoric rise had been documented in mere centuries. Their wars had been brutal and creative. Their peace had been equally innovative. Their technology advanced in leaps that made older civilizations nervous. But humanity had always explained itself, always negotiated, always communicated until now. "The Velkari are positioning their dreadnoughts along the outer rim," Eva said, pulling up tactical displays. "They're not backing down." "They are," Luis corrected, zooming in on the fleet formation. "Look closer. Those dreadnoughts? They're facing outward, not toward Earth. They're protecting their supply lines." Eva studied the formation more carefully. He was right. The aggressive posturing was just that, posturing. The actual defensive arrangements told a different story. The Andromedans recalled their expeditionary forces from the disputed territories yesterday, claimed it was for fleet maintenance. In reality, they're consolidating power, securing their core worlds. Luis pulled up another display. "The Shari have opened back-channel communications with our colony worlds, trying to gauge our intentions through proxy." "And the others?" "All of them are hedging their bets, recalculating their strategies, wondering if humanity's silence means we've developed some new weapon, some new strategy, some new way of war that will render their fleets obsolete." Eva sat down heavily in one of the observation chairs. "We haven't, though. Developed anything new, I mean. Earth is just silent, is it?" Luis asked. "Or is humanity speaking louder than it ever has before, just in a language the old empires forgot how to hear?" A priority alert flashed across Eva's datapad. She read it quickly, then looked up at Luis with something like awe. The Council has voted to withdraw the censure against humanity. They're reopening trade negotiations on our terms. The Velkari ambassador just personally apologized for any misunderstanding. Luis nodded slowly. 73 days ago, the Council tried to force humanity to surrender our mining rights in the Carina Nebula. They threatened sanctions, military action, isolation. They were certain we'd fold because we always had before. We'd always been so eager to talk, to compromise, to maintain peace at any cost. So we stopped talking, Eva said, understanding flooding through her. We let them fill the silence with their own fears. Every empire in the galaxy has enemies, Luis said. Rivals they've fought for millennia, resources they're desperate to secure, and all of them, every single one, has been operating under the assumption that they understood humanity's capabilities and limitations. He smiled. 73 days of silence, and suddenly they're not sure anymore. And in that uncertainty, they see 100 different threats, all worse than the reality. Ava's datapad chimed again. Another message, this one from Earth Command. She read it aloud. Resuming standard communication protocols tomorrow at 800 GST. All diplomatic channels to be reopened. Mining rights in Carina Nebula confirmed as sole human territory per Council vote. Tomorrow, Luis said, gazing out at the assembled fleets that were already beginning to disperse. Humanity will speak again. We'll be diplomatic and reasonable and accommodating, just as we've always been. But every empire out there will remember these 73 days. They'll remember that when humanity chooses to remain silent, the entire galaxy holds its breath. Eva stood beside him at the viewport, watching as the armada that had threatened Earth slowly disbanded. Each fleet returning to its home territory with a new understanding of the species that had refused to speak. It's beautiful, she said softly, in a terrifying sort of way. Luis nodded. Welcome to humanity's greatest strength, Eva. We're not the strongest species or the oldest or the most technologically advanced, but we're the only ones who truly understand that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is nothing at all. As the last of the alien vessels jumped to hyperspace, Earth finally broke its silence with a simple 3-word transmission that echoed across the galaxy. We are ready. Ready for what? No one dared to ask, and that, Luis knew, was exactly the point.